Hey folks, it's Greg and Janet. Today we're in Tyler, Texas, and we're here to see the gravesite of cult leader David Koresh, who, as you know, led a cult at Mount Carmel near Waco, Texas. And this one's going to be a tough one to do. Let's get started. Alright, hey guys, we're at Memorial Park Cemetery in Tyler, Texas. And this is the gravesite of David Koresh. In his father's hands, David Koresh, August 17th, 1959 to April 19th, 1993. Lying beside David Koresh is his stepfather, Roy Winfred Haldeman, and his mother, Bonnie Sue Haldeman. And I'm going to turn this camera around because I'm looking directly into the sun, but Janet's got some more information on Mr. Koresh.
Alright, you guys, you know the whole story about the Branch Davidians and that. Let me just take you to the very beginning. Okay, David Koresh was actually named Vernon Wayne Howe. And he was born in Houston. Okay, his mama here was actually Bonnie Sue Clark. She was only 14. The poor girl was only 14. And his daddy's name, his real daddy's name was Bobby Wayne Howe. Howe. I have to say it right. Howe. And
So she was only 14 when she gave birth?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But the thing is, Daddy Howell took off before she even gave birth with another young little girl. So that's terrible. So, yeah, oh, yeah, let's cool off a bit. And well, when he took off, okay, at 4 years old, Bonnie took Vernon, which is David Koresh, to his grandmother's, well, her mom, all right? And then when he was 7, she came back with a new guy, and that was the Haldeman guy, Roy Haldeman.
His stepfather.
Yeah, and she did have a baby boy with him in 1966, and that's when that was named Roger. So he had a half-brother named Roger. All right. Well, growing up, Vernon, or they called him Vernie, he was harassed a lot. He had been put into special ed because he has dyslexia, and he had, I guess, emotional problems. I don't know. He was a little slow, apparently. Having learning disabilities. And then he ended up going to Garland High School right out here. We're in Tyler here, but Garland is like next to Dallas. But he left school in his junior year. So here he is, you know, he didn't like school. He didn't do well in school, and he was made fun of, and they called him Bernie. And anyway, he left school when he was a junior. Okay, and then he finally met his real dad when he was 17 years old. He had never met him until then. And then when he was 19, he got a little 15-year-old girl pregnant, which is not good. But, okay, he was going to his grandma's Baptist church. I believe it was grandma's Baptist church. And then he found God. He proclaimed he found God. He was like reborn again. And then he changed to the Seventh-day Adventist, how do you say it?
Not sure.
Adventist church.
Okay.
Okay. That was what his mom used to be, apparently. That's what I was told. He went to a church for quite a while. Okay. Then he said there was a sign from God. The pastor had a daughter. The pastor daughter was supposed to become his wife. That's what Koresh or Vernon said to the pastor. He heard it from God, apparently.
I think he was delusional.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, he was kicked out of the church totally because he kept going after this girl, the pastor's daughter. He got kicked out. And that was like 1980, around there. And so he went to Waco in 1981 and got involved with the Branch Davidians in Waco. Okay, this was a whole different branch from the Davidians. The big Davidians chapter is run by Benjamin Roeder. Okay, that's how he got to Waco. All right, now Koresh got married to Rachel Jones, but when he was at the Branch Davidians in Waco, and he met Lois and George, right? Lois was in her 60s. Well, he had another sign from God that he was supposed to have a child with Lois, and it was supposed to be the chosen one, right? Okay, well, Lois kind of let him start running things, doing his own sermons and stuff like that.
Now Lois was in her 60s, right?
Yeah, in her 60s.
And she's gonna have a child.
Well, I don't think that worked out. I'm not sure. Nothing's been said about it. But that's what it's rumored that he was supposed to bed with her. Okay, so now he's got a 15-year-old he got pregnant, and now he's got married to this one lady. Now he's having relations with an old lady, Lois, and
This story just gets creepier and creepier.
Yeah, and so he started this what he called the serpent root, and that's what he was preaching. And he's like, he thought he was like getting these signs from God. And anyway, so Lois let him do his kind of thing, right? Okay, George and him were doing fine for a while, the son. Oh, then there was a big fire outbreak, and people were saying that they set it on fire. Well, George and him had a big falling out. Everything was cool until she passed away in like 1986. And then David and 25 others were kicked out, basically kicked out. And they went out on their own for 2 years and had almost nothing to live on. They lived in tents, buses, and that was in Palestine. They went to Palestine, Texas. And they were living in buses, tents, and David actually went out to the UK to recruit more members, went to Israel, and he then had another sign from God or something saying that he is Cyrus. He's supposed to be Cyrus, the god of the elder for the Greeks, Cyrus. And so that's what the name Koresh stands for.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. And so it's David Koresh. He gets his name legally changed in 1990. And it's mostly for looks, you know, just to make David Koresh and for the namesake. All right. So that's how he got his name. He was in Israel, and so they thought everything was going to come down in Israel. Then he figured out it's going to be in the United States. So he came back. And then get this. He turns George into the authorities for exhuming a dead body. All right? Exhuming a dead body. And he was trying to get on the property. The authorities ended up putting George in an insane asylum or something. And the property was just sitting there with back taxes. So David Koresh paid the back taxes, and that's how he got the whole Branch Davidian property. That's how he got it.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was a conniver. He was a conniver. Well, you know, he had all these kids, these women. He had couples come in from all over. He would actually annul the marriages of the couples and take the women to be his own, along with the kids. And that sickens me so bad. Sickens me so bad. He would keep the women and the men separate. They were basically eating beans and rice, and that's about it. There were Bible studies constantly. Kids were being beaten for almost nothing. Ex-members were going to Child Protective Services in 1992. They started an investigation. They're saying incest and molestation and child abuse. And the ATF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, knew that this guy had an arsenal and knew he had to be breaking some laws. Well, they went to investigate for the child abuse, the excuse for that. But ATF was all involved. But there were indications there was child abuse. So, on February 28th, 1993, they go into the property. And there's a big shootout. And there's 4 ATF officers shot and 6 Davidians killed in this shootout. Well, that starts the big 51-day siege.
Standoff, yeah.
Yeah, the standoff, the siege. There's movies. There's everybody was watching it on television. And it was like a movie, you know, you couldn't believe it. It really didn't seem real. I mean, even Greg and I have talked about this. Why didn't they just let Koresh, like when he's running into town, go grab him out of it? You know, like if he's running into town to go shopping or something, or grab him separately from the compound?
There was definitely a better way of handling the situation.
Right, right. And
I just can't figure out why anybody would follow him.
I know, yeah. You know, if you read the Bible, he based a lot of stuff on Revelations and his charisma. I mean, his charisma, and then the hope of there's more to life than just what's going on around you.
Yeah, but how could nobody see that he was a false prophet?
Yeah, really.
You know, I mean, with
Really?
all the stuff that he was doing, the members of
beating
the
the kids,
church,
yeah.
having children with so many children with different women that their husbands were there in a
Right.
different part of the complex. I just clueless. I don't understand
Right. They were saying that one ex-member said she personally knew that he had 15 children from different women that she knew of. And they're saying there's many more. But
Well, they had a lot of illegal weapons on the property too that they had changed from being a regular rifle to being an automatic or a machine gun almost.
Right, right. Now, Attorney Janet Reno is the one that gave the go-ahead to go ahead and storm the compound. That's where they had the big dozer and rammed it into the building. There was a big fire. There had been negotiations to, release all the kids. They did release some, but when Janet Reno said just do it, that's when all hell broke loose. And we were out there. All that's left is this foundation. There are trees planted for all the children that had died. And
it's a sad place.
it is so sad. And this guy, I can't believe he's here. I don't like being here with him.
We almost didn't do this video because we just didn't feel comfortable with the situation. But I mean, it's part of the United States history. It's something that has to be covered and shared. Yeah.
Well, they said that there's like 79 deaths and 24 of them were children. And there was one of the children was a 3-year-old baby that was stabbed in the chest. And they say Koresh died with a gunshot wound to the head. They don't know for sure if it was suicide or if it was his associate partner that shot him. They're not sure, but he had a gunshot to his head. He had been in the first initial part of the raid. He was shot, I believe, in the arm or something. He had a bullet wound to start with, but
and he held him off for quite a period of time, saying he wanted to write his manifesto or something.
Yeah,
and
right.
And then he just appeared to never want to complete it.
Right, right.
So.
And different negotiations and stuff.
It is a sad place if you ever go out there. It really is. Where the foundation of the church is, they have some placards and stuff in different areas that tell you what room this was, how many people died in this room, where the kitchen was, and it's a very somber place, very sad.
Right. Now there are numerous different movies and documentaries like Waco, The Rules of Engagement, Waco, The Big Lie, Waco, The Madman or Messiah, and there's a big podcast called End of Days. Get this. Zach Baggins now has David Koresh's 1968 Camaro. It was damaged during the siege, but Zach Baggins in Las Vegas has his 68 Camaro.
That is Haunted Museum?
I don't know if it's there, but he has possession of it. That's all I heard.
All right, folks, well, we hope you enjoyed this video more than we did. And until next time, you guys take it easy. Have a great day. We'll talk at you later. Bye-bye.
Strange RV tours will take you places with Greg and Janet's smiling faces. You might see a crazy flavored soda review or some tips to fit your RV too. So come along, won't you join us, friend, as we discover what's around the bend. Just sit right back in your easy chair. Strange RV Tours is on the air. Strange RV Tours is on